Hi there, everybody. My name is Angelik Laboy Torres. I'm a developer advocate here at Retool, and today we're going to be covering forms and user input. We're going to actually be working in the forms, we're going to be connecting it to data, and we're going to be setting up validations, all the things that are essential in order to do the user capturing effectively in Retool. Now, before we dive in, I would like to say as to why forms are essential in this platform. Particularly, I would say that they're the best way to capture user input. This could be anything from like updating new information or, like creating a whole new record or just simply just like collecting user information. Now, for me personally, they're really the bridge between the interface and the data set. So with that, let's start it. So as you can see right now, we're in the Retool IDE, and there's really two ways of building forms. You can either do them automatically. So to get started with that, we're gonna go on the Add UI tab, and then I'm gonna do form. I'm gonna drag and drop it over here. And then you can see there's either two. There's the Add Components or the Generate from Dataset. We're gonna click on Generate from Dataset. And then you can see it's so many different types of resources. These are the ones that you've already set up and you might be familiar with. So let's go over here. If you click on Create New, this is on the navigational bar, Resources. You have all these different types of logo where your data can be existing in. And this could be like Databricks, this could be like BigQuery, Amazon, Cassandra, Google Sheets, like Postgres, MongoDB, FireDB, like there's so many, of Fire database. So with that is actually, if you have already set it up, then you can have access to that. But for this example, I'm just going to use something more simple. So I'm going to do Retool Database, and I'm actually going to be using this table. You might have seen it already, but it is the one with the top user. So first name, last name, email, and phone number, company. Pretty simple. Okay. So let's do that. Let's do top users. And I can actually arrange them however I like. I'm gonna actually disable the ID. I don't need this. I'm gonna drag it to the bottom. I'm gonna do first name, last name, email, company, and phone number. That seems totally fine. Same thing with the input type. You can actually change them to any of these if they seem more adequate. You try to do the matching as perfectly as possible. I'm gonna click Generate Form, and voila, it has already generated a query, which is pretty dope. If I fill this out, it can be like Angel, I can do Laboy at gmail.com. My company, let's do Retool, and I can do okay, perfect, and I can click submit. Voila, it went away. It did a simple resource query, as you can see over here, and it inserted record, and the object was the information set. How do we know if it worked? Because you can see it right there live in real time by checking back to your database, or you can set up a table. But we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so now let's actually do a manual form. For that reason, I'm actually just gonna delete this. We don't need this anymore. Okay, so the same way, right? You might have seen it. It said Add Components. So we're going to click on Add Components and do them one individually. These are all the different types of input that you have access to. Like you have text input, you have number input, and let's do select actually. Select. And then you go in and change them, change the label to them. I could do product name. I can extend this and do pricing. Be sure that you select that specific type of label. So pricing. I can extend this. This is going to be category. Okay, which one is this one? Well, we're actually going to be interacting with this table over here. This has, you might have seen it from previous videos. It has product name, price, category, SKU code. Okay, so what are we going to do? Let's actually set up a query. This query is actually going to have the information from the table be brought up. Why? Well, you're going to know in a second. Okay, select all from products. There we go. Save and run in. Cool. I'm going to say product info. There you have it. Cool. Okay. The reason why that is important is because, first of all, let's drag in a table. Let's see how this information is updating in real time. It has already matched it up to the query. Perfect. This is amazing. Okay. So we see all the like categories even be well. It's all good. Perfect. I can even like hide this. Select this table. There you go. I can hide it instead. There you go. Perfect. Okay. So what do we want to do? We want to make this category, the options that are provided, not be manual. We want to map them. How do we map them? Well, let's do it with the query that we just did, the product info. Perfect. Not product name. Let's do category. Awesome. So categories is working, pricing is working, and everything. Cool. Then let's do a sending away. The same way that we had the inserting, let's do that. So let's do it through GUI. I did a research query, Retool Database. Let's do products. Awesome. And then let's do update a record or create a new one if it doesn't exist. We're going to match. How do we know that this is working? Well, we need to filter it out. We're going to filter it out by the name. So this is called text input. Be sure to label your stuff correctly. This is just for the exercise right now. And let's do key value pairs. So let's do product name with the text input value. Let's do pricing with price. This is supposed to be a number input and that value. And then lastly, let's do category. And then the category is fine. Let's do, what is this? A select one, that data. A hammer. And let's do $20. And then let's do tool. And let's connect this. Let's connect the event handler to that query that we just made. Query one, that is perfect. Submit, control query, query, trigger. Perfect. So when I click this, submit it. There we go. Perfect. Okay, hammer. We have it over here. The SQU code. It's okay. We don't need it right now. Now, what do we want to do? We want, whenever this form gets updated, now we want the table to update that information as well. Well, what do? We go over here. And you might have seen this in the event handler section in one of the previous videos. So let's go over in the query category itself, the event handlers, and then the success. So what we want to do is actually plus, and we want to control query the product info. That it works because we're already asking for all the information from the get-go. So in this case, if that query runs successfully, then it would refresh that information in the table. So let's test this out. Save this, and I'm gonna submit a new information. I'm gonna do car. I'm gonna do, I don't know how much a car would be. Let's do a toy. This is a very expensive toy. Let's do submit. There you go. Boom, and it actually updated both of them, which is, I mean, this is pretty awesome at the end of the day. And again, you can keep updating all your forms whenever you do them manually. Like you can add them by clicking on the plus icon, and you have stuff like adding a new button, adding a neck, a new number input, a text input, a select, a container. Like it's up to you and really your imagination. How do you want to collect this information? Again, keep in mind all those labels that you want to be updating. So now how do we set up validation rules? Well, we go over here. Once we click on the type of input that we're getting that information from and the inspector window, we go into validation rules. We click there and we add a minimum and a maximum. Okay, my minimum is $0. My maximum is gonna be that amount of money. So there's gonna be an issue. Otherwise, if I go above that, let's say that I go up, it just reset it back. Can't be that. Okay, cool. Let's do -1. Well, I can't even do negatives. Let's set the minimum to 10 then. And then I set this up to 2 or 1. What? Well, the minimum goes back. This is pretty cool. You're setting up different standards for what it is allowed that the person can input in there. Cool. The next thing is allowing a null. No, don't do that. Or yes, do it. Up to you. And then also you can create custom rules and say it's required. Okay, I want to make it required, and that's where you get the check off over here. Let's do the same thing. Let's do this one as a requirement. There you go. Check it off. Product name. Let's also set it up as something that is required. There you go. Perfect. And then that's it. Okay. So that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I know that was a lot, but we really learned how to build forms, how to validate inputs, and how to connect it to your database. And whether it is, using a form that is generated from a data set or from a source that you have or something that you want to build manually, these tools specifically are there to capture all of the necessary user data. So thank you, and I'll see you next time.